want to believe that most of us have seen videos like this when we are shown that an AC motor will drive an alternator motor, and at the end of the day we're going to be getting infinite energy from the system. The first question I want to ask is, if this motor, if they're not 100% efficient, is it possible for them to drive themselves alone, not to talk of driving another load that is attached to it? Well, they are not 100% efficient, and it's not practical for two of them to even run each other without them coming to a halt. Then the other thing is this: if something is working and the components are this available, you should know a neighbor or someone, a friend that is already using it, and they'll tell you the good news about this gadget. So for it not to be like that, it means that it doesn't work. Take solar panels for example. Solar panels can generate electricity from sun and everything, but today what do we have? It's everywhere. Now, this video in question now was done 3 years ago. If that was when they started discovering this, don't you think by now that we'll have a lot of this kind of free energy generators everywhere? So that's one thing to consider. And of course, you can see in your screen right now that I have all the motors that he used to demonstrate, but I know that they're not going to work because I actually tried some few things way back and they don't work. So the main reason why I'm doing this video is because I've had people that were duped into thinking that if they pay a particular amount, they'll be given this infinite energy generator, and I've actually called people like that, and they sound so convincing that if you're not careful, you actually fall for it. So in my quest to be sure of how sure they were, I decided to plan for a meeting to see how it works, and I was going to pay them the full money and collect my generator. The moment you start telling them that you want to see how it works and everything, that is where the problem begins. They start giving you stories of how, it's not possible, and at the end of the day, they just cut you off. I know 1 or 2% that have been duped into paying about 10%. They tell you to pay 10% upfront, or 20% upfront. At the end of the day, on delivery, you're going to pay the remaining one. So what you don't know is that they want to just collect that money, and that's the end of the conversation. So be guided. If you're one of those persons that is carried away by free energy, if it's going to work, give it time. Don't be duped. Let someone else that it has worked for, that has the money to spend, let him show you that it works, and you can now go and buy. That's just my little contribution in all this, because I see a lot of videos like this and I'm just looking at it that why bother yourself? People are supposed to know, but the reality is that a lot of people are not going to know until someone like me tells them about it. And another reason is that, what if it works? Can you imagine how much money that maybe somebody like me I could have made if it works? At the end of the day, I present it to somebody, use it for 30 days. If it works for you, this is the money you're going to pay. If it doesn't work, don't pay. I'm not going to say I don't believe that it's possible to generate electricity in this way, but I want to believe that you are going to depend heavily on magnets, because there's a way you position two magnets and they will never drop on each other, even if one is on top of the other one. Yeah, if you set the poles, the same pole, not pole or south pole, and you put them in a tube, there's no way. You have to force them to touch each other. So that kind of force, I'm sure if it is well positioned by some expert of sort, we can get usable energy from those magnets and everything. Till date, I still don't know anybody who has that capacity to position the magnet in a way that we can get some energy infinitely. Maybe in future I'll be doing more videos like this to create awareness, because one of the things I'm seeing on the internet is that people just watch something 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 times and they start believing that this thing is true. And there's a saying that if you keep telling yourself that a lie is true, then at some point you're going to believe that that lie is actually true. So when people watch videos like this over and over again, you see that they just become victims of, and this thing actually works, it makes sense. So I don't want to make this video long. I just wanted to let you guys know that people have been duped into thinking that this thing works, and they have paid a price for that ignorance or whatever. I'm not blaming them, because I've actually spoken with these people. If I've not spoken with them, I would have been saying, how can you spend money? Why didn't you know? These guys are so convincing, and that they have a network. When you speak to this person, they will refer you to someone else. Different things they do just to see that they get your attention. At the end of the day, you just be carried away. So see you guys and catch you on the next one.